Greetings. In this video, we're going to create a Google Sheet that connects a chemical name to the IR spectral image and data file on store within the NIST webbook. We're also going to be able to connect to mass and UV vis spectra. So for example, if somebody changes the name here, I'll change this to benzene, we get the spectra of benzene along with, if it loads, the data file. Okay? Now, this video is part of the Chem Informatics OLCC course, and if I click here spring 2017 and I go to part 3, data representations on computers, the information in this video is going to be embedded into this page here using Google Sheets. And here we have the code that will be used for this video. So this video is in support of this page, and if you find this video on YouTube, simply search the Chem Informatics OLCC and come to this page, and you can have access to the actual code. Okay, now what I want to do here is create a new sheet, okay? And the first thing we're going to do here is figure out how to make this drop-down box. Then we're going to figure out how to get these CAS numbers, and then how to get the spectrum. Now actually, before we jump into this, let's look at the basic strategy. This is a NIST chemistry webbook, and if I go over here to search options, and I choose name, I now can do a search for a chemical name. And I'm going to type in anthracene here. And I want to get the IR, the UV vis, and the gas chromatography, and I know the mass spectrum. And I'm going to do a search here. And now I come back with the landing page, and as I scroll down here, I get access to several spectra. And so we want to be able to pull this spectra into our web sheet, and we're going to need to look at the address. So I'm going to go copy image address, go over to a new tab, do Control V. And what you see here is this string on webbook NIST, then spec equals C, and then it has these numbers 120127, and then it goes on to say type equals UV vis. So what we need to do is be able to have these numbers 120, 127, and be able to have the UV vis. The 120, 127 is the CAS number without the dashes, okay? And then the type will either be UV vis or IR or mass. So for example, if I change this here to anthracene, okay, there's your 120, 127. So how are we going to get the CAS number? Well, we're going to go over to ToxNet, and we're going to pull it from this page here. Here is your CAS number, 120, 12.7, or 120, 127, without the dashes when we were on the webbook. And if I right-click View Page Source, scroll down to line 106, I have a thing here called Link Relative Canonical href equals, and then it has the CAS number. So this is where that number is being pulled from, and we're going to use an XPath to extract this number, which we'll go over, and it's also in the page on the OLCC describing this. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, I want to go into my sheet here, and up here I'm going to type the name of the compound, name, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to write the CAS registry number. Now, I'm going to put into this cell here, actually I'll put it down here to 5. I'm going to put in a drop-down box. So I go to Data, Data Validation, and the default is List Arrange. Oh, and I had to click on the cell I wanted. So the cell range is this cell here. And now I want to have a list of items, and then I just want this to be what? IR, comma, UV vis, comma, mass, okay? And now I can go save, click out of there, and now I have a drop-down box where I can choose these, okay? Now I want to come over to this cell here, and I want to go over to ToxNet and get the INCHI key, okay? And so if I climb back to the other page here, what I'm going to do is use a import HTML function, import XML, excuse me, Control C, get back into the Google Sheet. I'm in this cell here, and I'm going to go into the function control V equals. And what I'm doing here is if I went back to the source of this page, when I go to this URL, there's 39 characters before the cast number. So when I go back here, what I'm doing here is I'm going into the ChemID plus the Anthracene page, then I'm making an XPath to what is at the href of the link for canonical, which is what this stuff here is, the link relative canonical href equals. And then I'm taking the 40th character on up to a total of 60. There will not be anywhere near 60 characters, okay? Now I hit here, and I should get, I don't know why it didn't pull that in there. Let me control X equals delete, control V. Delete equals, enter. Okay, now nothing's happening, okay, because I had no chemical. Now if I write in a chemical, benzene, I now get the cast number, okay? The next thing I want to do is I want to substitute the dash signs for nothing, okay? So I could go back to the course page here, all right? And what we want to do here is take this function here, substitute, and what this does is it goes into cell B2 and places into this cell anything that had a dash with nothing, okay? So I now come back here, and I go into here, control V, and hit enter, and now I have this number here. The next thing I want to do is I want to make a large cell with which to put the image spectrum, okay? So I want to go from C2 to I2 and C2 down to 19, okay? So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to go from C2 to I2. Now you can't actually see what's being covered because I'm video recording this, or I can't, and now I have highlighted these cells. I now hit format, merge cells, merge all, and now I have one large cell, okay? Now in this cell, I'm going to use the image command, okay? So I'll drop back down to here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the NIST webbook, and I'm going to pull forth the cell. Now if you remember, I'm going to copy that. If you remember when I go to the webbook, which was here, and I right-clicked onto the cell, okay, and I grabbed its source codes and went to the webbook, and then it put C120127. Then it gave an index which we don't have to worry about, and then it said type UV-Vis, and then if I hit enter, I get the UV-Vis. If I change the type from UV-Vis to IR and hit enter, I get the IR. So I'm going to go into this cell here, and I'm going to paste this function. Remember an equal sign, we need an equal sign there, equals. And so I'm now pulling the image at the web book that has the number of the cell in B3, and it has the type of what is in this cell here. So now if I click, except I don't understand why these are not all merged. Did I forget to merge that? Okay, well let's just go back down here. I swear I merged them. Okay, format, merge cells, merge all. Okay, now I've merged them all and it's in this one big cell. Okay, now if I go in here and I change this to UV-Vis, it gets the UV-Vis spectrum. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is get the actual data. Okay, so now if I go back to the NIST webbook and I scroll down here, it says download data spectrum, and if I click this, it'll download the spectral file. So, but I want to see where that is, so I'm going to right click, do a copy link address. I'm going to go over here to the new tab, do Control V, and what I see here is that it has pretty much the same thing with CBook, CGI, and then it says JCamp equals C12127, and then it has the index which we can ignore, and then it says type UV-Vis. And this would allow me to download the UV-Vis spectra. So if I go back to the Google Sheet here, and then I have that code on our page here. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to take the equal sign, and we're going to import data this time. So I'm going to do Control-C. So what we're doing here is we're going to import the data from the webbook at this location with the number of cell B3 and the type of cell A5. Let's just double check that I highlighted that. Control-C. So if I minus this, I now want to come down here into this cell and go Control-V. So I'm going to import this data, and I'm going to append to this URL B3, and this is the CAS number without the dashes, and of the type A5. And now if I hit enter, and I scroll down, now it's actually got to load this, okay, and I go down here and I have the UV-Vis spectrum, and as I scroll down I have the actual data associated with that file, and if I switch this to, say, IR, I have the IR value. It's a little messy there in the data. We'd have to figure out what to do with that. But this gives you a feel. And the important thing to realize here is that there's lots of opportunities to explore within web services and stuff, and that you can directly extract data from multiple sources into your worksheets. And you need to learn how to explore what is available and make things work. All right, well, good luck.